And boys, we are live. Hello everyone, it's me Parker, or Viral Edge, and I literally just woke up. We're live with the BO4, some sort of multiplayer reveal trailer, so I thought the fact I'm home, I thought I'd go over it. So, we're literally like 10 seconds to spare, so here we go. They're just gonna be teasing some new stuff, showing some new stuff, so we're gonna watch. And if I get copyrighted, we'll just end this. But I do already like that we see zombie stuff in here. I mean, I think this is the one we've already seen, but I don't really care. It's still, yeah, we've seen it. It's still hype though. Oh, that's sick.
Good morning and welcome to Treyarch. I'm John Raffis, and this is the very first live stream for Call of Duty Black Ops 4. The first of many streams from this, our new live stream studio. So let's get right to it.
What's up, Merc? What's up, Glenn?
Black Ops 4 to the world.
Can you guys hear it well?
Okay. Playable multiplayer maps on the show floor. We thought today would be a great opportunity to kind of talk about where we were at Reveal, speak to a few community questions that came out of Reveal, but also look ahead to what's in store for next week. And to do just that, I brought with me two guys who need no introduction, but will get one anyway. Dan Bunting and David Vonderhaar. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you, Raffis.
All right, let's jump right into it. Next week, multiplayer maps on the show floor. Let's start broad, to recap a little bit about Reveal. Dan, why don't you tell us about what people can expect from Black Ops multiplayer when they get their hands on it?
Well, first of all, Black Ops 4 is a game that's been built from the ground up to be played online with friends. It's a game that really reinforces your social connections, your social gameplay experiences. I think that that's what our fans and our community has come to know and love about Treyarch and the games that we make, whether you're playing competitive multiplayer or cooperative zombies. It is a deeply engaging and continually rewarding experience. So with competitive MP, I think we talked a lot about it. Vaughn, you're welcome to jump in any time, but we're
going to make him jump in. Don't worry, he's jumping in real soon.
Yeah, so we talked about the game that we are bringing specialists back in a kind of different way, in a new twist. We talked about it being a game that is deeply rewarding. With a big focus on overhauling our weapon systems, making those systems feel like they're more competitive, more satisfying to players. They have a good deep learning curve.
I just can't get over this stuff. Oh,
but it's also got a more
guys, look in the top right.
Feel to it.
I have this.
That's right.
Top left.
We want to introduce that tactical layer so that players feel like they can compete together. That there's a whole new layer of depth to the game that they can play and just continue to master over a long period of time.
So David,
that's good, by the way. So I
didn't even take a breath.
My job is done. I don't have to talk anymore. I just go home.
No, I'm kicking it back over to you to talk about game design decisions. So if you could talk about some of the design principles at play that you guys have enforced.
Sorry guys, I literally just woke up
so,
like 5 minutes ago.
Always we start with what we call the game pillars, and they are sort of foundational.
No campaign is a disappointment. It was one of those cool things that made kind of enjoyable. I misclicked. Yeah, I mean, I see that, but like I personally never played campaign, and just multiplayer and zombies.
One of the big ones that's important.
I just feel like it's more so better to give them more stuff than the campaign that you only play for a week.
Press a button, it has the haptic feedback, it has to give you audio.
I don't think any notifications would open.
These are all really simple things in isolation, but together they create that kind of experience where subtly, doing something as simple as reloading your gun has a lot more to it than just everything that you know about reloading your gun, maybe historically, right? And that includes effects, animations, the model, lighting. I mean, just across the spectrum. So that one's really important. The other one that we talked about a lot was fun to watch, right? And there's a lot of ways to think about fun to watch. It's not just, hey, this supports streaming features, right? That's a thing, that it's streamer friendly, but also the game design itself, right? So when Dan talks about the specialist in particular, there's an example of as
streaming
a spectator,
friendly. I wonder what that means.
You're watching the game. You understand a little bit more about what's happening there because you're watching a particular player play a particular specialist, and that particular specialist has things and does
that's probably what they thought of it as
within the game loop that no other player can do. So that makes it sort of easier to understand when you're watching, and a way to associate how well you do playing that person than with the person who's actually streaming. So those are like
I can't
two,
wait
and
till
then
they
the third
actually
one.
show some.
Well, all that
They have a.
like letting
Is that a
people
Zombies
still do
comic
sort of like
book
a Call of
on
Duty
the?
badass, but sort of
I
unlocking.
think it's a
the
Zombies
deeper
comic
potential.
book
Yeah,
on the.
of course. I mean, you create a
counter right
class
there.
and score streaks and selecting your weapon and configuring your weapon and the chat. I mean, all the things that make Call of Duty are still here.
Yeah.
In a big way.
And our third pillar is we wanted to
Didn't
have
receive a
deep and
notification
rewarding
for
road
the
to mastery
stream.
where,
Yeah,
we
Glenn, I
want
don't
players
think
to
anyone
feel like
did.
they can pick it up easily,
What's up,
but
Fire?
that journey that they take from the beginning of playing
I don't
the
think
game
anyone
all the
received
way
a notification.
to, you know, their infinite number of levels they might earn through the game, it feels like they are constantly learning new things, and that there's never a nuance that they haven't picked up on over time.
Sorry.
Well, that's it. I mean, and we want the game to be learnable. So that was, you know, it's a big kind of guiding principles. We want everything that you put into the game needs to be done in a way that's predictable, so players can figure it out over time. They can learn how to do it. They can master it themselves.
And manifests itself in, say, like the weapon design, where every weapon, and you know, we like to say it's its own unique snowflake, but it's its own really modeled after the concept of a brand or modeled after the concept of a character itself. So, you know, it's not just mastery of I unlocked all the attachments for this weapon, but I unlocked all the attachments for all of these weapons, and that path to that mastery is actually not exactly the same, right? So in a way, we took a lot of the stuff that we were really good at in the systems, like putting nice things in nice clean boxes that are easy to understand, and we sort of opened them up and cracked them open a little bit. So, and this is a small example of road to mastery there. It's also specialist and how they combine together, right? So on day one, you might not even realize that if you have a character with a healing capacity of any sort, and then you
That's going to be me, Glenn.
Fire break, what that does. So you'll see this sort of interweave in the entirety of the game design, and that, you know, that's been quite a journey.
And that also like finds its way into more nuanced elements like predictive recoil.
Yeah.
My boy Von.
Yeah, that's a
Another
perfect
good
example of a kind of an overhauling a system that we've lived with.
I have no idea what they're
our
even
games
talking
and
about.
the franchise for many years. That
I mean, they're
we-
going to show
we wanted to
multiplayer
kind of
stuff
challenge
and
what
maybe
assumptions
like
this game is
Blackout a
built
little
on,
bit, but
and then fulfill
they're
that.
just talking
that pillar
about
we have,
basically
that you
how
have a game that's
Black
deeply
Ops
rewarding
4
and a game that
is
has a long road to
different,
mastery.
but it's more
So,
fun than
you know,
other
predictive
games.
recoil is an example
Which
of
obviously
just
isn't the
another
same.
layer of changing a core mechanic to give players something that they can learn over time.
Okay,
that they
so
can
here's the
understand,
actual
that gives them
gameplay.
that predictability
That really
that
looks
they
like
can master over
BO3.
time.
And at the same time,
It
when you take
really
predictive
does.
recoil and you
I'm
combine it with the
not
progression,
mad about
the
that
way
or
the guns
anything, but it
progress,
really does.
And you mix it with
Like, it
sort of
looks
how they all
basically
interplay and the
identical,
long range,
but
and then you get the combat loop.
at least from
and
Zombies,
and
as I
sort of,
said, was
for us,
like,
it's really important to take a
you
crack
can't
at
really
what's the
change
combat
much.
loop look like, where does it
User
modify,
counter on the
and
stream?
what stages does it
What do you mean?
modify. That's how you end up with something like the need to self-heal.
Self-healing, I don't know how I feel about that.
So it's interesting because when you talk about
you
features,
have
it's
to
like
pull it up.
the simple way to talk about features is to say we have a feature that is that you have to initiate your own heal, right? And in isolation, that seems like, well, okay, well, you know, maybe that would be okay.
This is actually a
right?
more
But
well
it's the
put together
totality
live
of the
stream from them. A
experience and the
lot of them,
features and how
there's
they all
like you
interweave
can't
together.
hear them
That's a
for
very
like
tough
20
story
minutes.
to tell when you're on stage for 10 minutes for the public reveal. But
I
something
think
that
it looks
I'm
cool
personally
though.
excited about being
Personally,
able to
like
come
I
into
feel like it
the
actually
studio
looks like
that you built, the house that John
it
built.
looks like a
That's
mixture
quite
of like the
gorgeous and,
UI
you know,
or
for
AI
people,
of
for folks who
No,
are curious about these
no
things.
Infinite
time limits,
Warfare with
David.
like
No time limits.
BO3. I
There
really
is some
think
time
that
limits.
looks
There
cool.
is the fact where
I would like to actually get
on.
on. I can't wait for beta
sure.
and hands-on, but
you know, I like
where I
that.
have to
So
say
if
for
you're, if you
beta
wanna
is
kind of
that
get
I
into
love
the
the
weeds a
World
little
War
bit
II
with us,
beta
this is
and
the
I
place to be,
hated the
think.
game.
Yeah, that's the beauty of doing a live stream like this is that, you know, we do have a very tight time window to be up on stage and explain everything about the game in a compact 5 to 10 minute session, but we
On
come
your
here, we
video,
get
it
to
usually
say,
says some people
why do we make these decisions?
There's like
What are
nobody
what's the
watching.
motivation behind it?
Notifications didn't go out.
How do they all interconnect
What's up,
together,
Ryan?
Yeah.
Right. So it's a,
Yeah, no,
maybe the
we have
better
Glenn,
journey,
Merc,
the
Nugget,
more-
Ryan,
the more detailed
and
version of that
Fire,
journey
and
how they tie
myself.
together.
Yeah,
Well,
literally
let's-
zero
let's take that
notifications
idea
went
and
out
apply that to something that you raised, which was the
because
regenerative
we
health.
literally finished our live
So
stream at
coming
like
out of
3
the reveal,
a.m.
there were a
So
couple questions
no
around
notifications went on
health
now, which
regen.
is kind of rough, but it's
We
whatever.
put up a Reddit post that tried to outline
I'll stream again tonight,
some
we'll be
answers.
chilling.
There were still a couple follow-up questions that came out of that post.
Perfect. This is
Yeah.
exactly in my wheelhouse.
So first, I mean, let's just start broadly from like a design perspective. Like, what is the player benefit? What's the player benefit for having to trigger health regeneration?
So there's so many ways to answer this question. I'd like to try my version, and then you can maybe take your
Sure.
perspective
Well,
on
that's
this.
cool.
So from my perspective, you have a fan base that extends Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3. And all of those players, some love 1, 2, 3, some love all 3, some love various combinations, right? And in some universe, you would want Black Ops 4 to be a game that all of those players can really engage with. If you loved 1, maybe we can get you to love 4. but not necessarily isolate a guy who loved 3. So throughout the Black Ops history, there was various degrees of lethality, right? So the first game was maybe a lot less lethal, or the time to kill was longer than 3. So you get to kind of balance that out by saying, hey, tactical players, you know, they have a decision-making point within the combat experience that they have to initiate, right? So if the other guy's not thinking about health, the tactical player might think about health, but that tactical player has a chance to compete against
God, I wish notifications actually were not on this, though.
You know, guy with great guns.
But notifications don't go,
okay, it's really about tactical decision-making within the combat loop, which changes the pace of that loop.
And I know this was a really last-minute thing,
but the player in control of that combat loop, as opposed to the game says, you will now heal, right? And now we say you will heal, you will decide when to heal. So if you're a game designer, being able to kind of take the things out, you know, the game needs to do things, it needs to work, it needs to maintain the rules, but ultimately giving player agency over things is always been kind of a step from Black Ops to 2 to 3. We've been continuing to find ways throughout the history of our development with Black Ops, right? Same thing with Create a Class, right? Same thing with many features. How do you just let the player have control over what that experience is when you can and when it makes sense? That was a long-winded answer, I think.
True that.
Beautiful. It was poetic, David.
Thank you.
True that.
Another thing to add to that is that it introduces a point of tension in the game, in the combat loop. And that point of tension is something that I think just adds depth. And if you go back to our pillars, every decision that we make on the development team is guided by those pillars. So if we say we want this game to be deeply rewarding, so give me a road to mastery where I can learn, I can master a mechanic, and make it feel good and satisfying at every moment of that journey. Then we look at every decision that we make and every kind of system and feature that exists in the game, and something like heal is something that it removes that decision point. It doesn't let you kind of stop, pause, rethink, reposition yourself in a combat engagement. So the effect of having self-healing as a mechanic that's manual is that the combat, you see people staying in combat longer because they'll take damage, they'll pull back behind cover, they'll stay behind cover a little bit.
That's the funnest part of the experience.
That's the funnest part of the experience. I mean, staying in those really high intensity battles.
This is what I'm talking about here, guys. Is the med kits that are kind of funky to me.
Well, there was also kind of a follow-up question on all this. So it's like on one hand, there was like, you know, explain to me sort of how this all works, what's the benefit. But there's sort of the follow-up about stim and the use of the stim shot. Sure. So how exactly does that factor into the health? So
in early development, when we start to bust out numbers, or you play the game at reveal or at E3, everyone should clearly understand that when you're at this stage of development, none of the specific tuning is completely locked in, right? So no one worry.
Yeah, we're pre-alpha.
Right. So, however, here's what Stim does. It does two major things. When you heal, there is a time period before you can heal again, right? So if I go out, take damage, heal, go back out, take damage again, now I have to wait. I can't heal immediately.
Yeah.
So Stim will shorten the time that it takes for you to be able to do that. It also speeds up how long it takes. So after you Stim, right?
That's really quick.
How long it will take to get
It's going to be kind of annoying hitting another button,
so
but it's
I've heard it all before. How is it going to be not a crutch, gear piece, right? Yep. So the answer is tuning, the answer is data, the answer is player feedback, right? In this job you hear, you know,
what up, Wolfhead?
In the abstract.
I'm surprised you're here. Notifications didn't go out.
Well, you're also going to have to make super tough choices between Stim and other 4 things in the gear slot. So I'm not worried. You don't have to be worried. This is what we do with you all, right? Exactly how we handle it.
And the gear category is a new introduction of content into the Create a Class this time around, where we wanted to take some of those kind of modifiers that you have to your gameplay experience and take them up a little bit in the power band so that you get something that increases the granularity of your combat customization, somewhere between perks and score streaks. That's what gear does, and you get to choose 1 out of 5 pieces of content in that category. So Stim is 1, and I do want to just kind of echo what David was saying. It's pre-alpha. We do a lot of tuning between now and game launch. We incorporate feedback from every time.
Oh, you got the notification? Okay, well, fine. Most people did not.
And it doesn't stop there. Beyond launch, we are constantly tuning the game. I mean, you saw that with Black Ops 3. We're still making changes to the game, even recently. So
some that you love and some that you don't love.
But all for the good. All for the good of the community and the gameplay experience. And in this case, we've already tuned
good to have you here, bro.
Stim shot based on
the kind of dead in here, but we're showing. I'm just watching.
So we were watching.
Now it's faster, right?
We were collecting data It's funny because there was a lot of
being a zombies channel.
It was a hot topic in the community. People were talking about StimShot. They were talking about armor a lot.
I'm always kind of interested in the information.
The data that we were collecting on the back end from all
instead of watching another person's video,
the armor wasn't even that effective at helping people stay alive longer or get more kills or anything like that. So armor was actually one of the weaker pieces of content in that category. StimShot was very powerful, and so was the motion sensor. Motion sensor was also very powerful. So both of those have been tuned since then.
We do need to nerf the motion sensor.
Well, you guys totally gotten out in front of my next question, which is like, I mean, at reveal, starting with reveal, I mean, the game has been in people's hands.
I got a notification from Discord and never fails
we ever have before. Like, what have you taken away from that? What have those experiences kind of put your attention on from a design and development standpoint in terms of, you know, kind of what you're evolving? It sounds like that process has already begun.
Wow, geez. So the way that we measure, the way that we track performance, the analytics that are gathered, and what to do with those analytics was stuff that we spent a lot of time on trying to. And we started on 2 really, and then on 3 we had real tools, and then on 4 the tool development about how to measure that. So, you know, it's hard, but you have to for me personally try to take the emotion out of, you know, the decision making that you make there, because people have very visceral reactions, right? So. You know, to be at a reveal event, which is a semi-private event for the most part, and be able to gather and collect data about the game being played at reveal, that is like light years ahead of even where we were on 3 in so many ways. So normally you don't get that kind of data. Maybe you get it at alpha. Some get a little bit of beta, and then you don't get the most of it until the game's out when, you know, 1 billion people are playing, right? So it's nice to be able to have that kind of stuff up front. So mad shouts out to the guys inside the building that are helping us do that.
All right.
But we've done a whole tuning pass. All the weapons have been touched. All the pieces of gear content have been touched. Score streaks have been tuned. It was a good first run to get this in people's hands, to start kind of testing the data that we're collecting with our own internal playtest data, and kind of judge also that Vaughn mentioned the emotional component, try to take the emotion out of it, but it is a data point as well. You've got your metrics, which you're saying, how is this thing actually performing against the ways that we measure performance. But then you have sentiment, and you have perception, and you have emotion. There is a part of that that you have to take into consideration when you tune this. Twitter. There is.
Yes.
Twitter's. They have a voice, and it comes through loud and clear.
Don't worry, Reddit. I got you. I got you. I have loud and clear. I got you.
Well, that's probably a pretty good point to start sort of turning our attention toward E3 and looking ahead to next week. To kind of kick off that discussion, Dan, you've got some news that you want to share with us today.
Man.
Yes. Are we talking about the E3 maps first? So, yeah, one of the things that we are talking about at E3 is we are bringing back 4 fan favorite maps for Black Ops 4.
4 fan favorites, Dan. Tell us what they are.
I actually have them queued up here. The first one that we're talking about is Jungle. It's a
pretty lit map
that we made in Black Ops 1. It has not been revisited since Black Ops 1, but it's one of our favorite maps from development.
That was like one of the first one I played.
Get enough love, and so we've remastered the Jungle.
Is that why?
Yeah.
Is that why you did that one?
Yeah. It's an awesome map, and it was.
It is an awesome map.
And
it's a fun map.
We've not only completely rebuilt.
You will like it.
completely rebuilt the map.
And this is a map that will be available when?
This will be a map that's available at launch.
Okay.
It comes with the game.
Comes with the game.
Part of the game experience, and
dang, that's pretty cool.
It's each of these maps that I'm going to talk about, we've rebuilt from the base level, from the ground up. It's all new. Visuals, all new. We've even done some gameplay tuning, some changes to adapt to the mechanics of the game as they've evolved from Black Ops 1 to now Black Ops 4. So that's the first one, Jungle.
Slums.
Slums is the second one. You want to talk about it?
I just want to talk about how awesome it is, and the nature, like the competitive nature of that kind of map, the walled garden in the middle. Right, these are all experiences that
Slums. Why can't I think of what Slums is?
It's actually really a good thing to sort of remind ourselves what we learned then, right? Because when you go from 1 to 3 and things that had happened between those games, how fast 2 was, and then the verticality of 3, and then come back around again, right, on 4 to look at.
Oh, that's Slums from BO2? That's a cool map.
Pure great, like design roller test cases. Like, oh, this is why these maps were good. These were why these maps are popular. And when you get to 4 and you come back to the ground, right, you got to it's kind of.
I heard it was standoff and carrier.
It's actually important to remind ourselves.
But I think they're going to go 1 BO1 or 1 BO2.
Is more in line with 1 because you're not thrust jumping, and you're not wall running, right? So it's sort of like a really good way. So Sums for me was like, oh yeah, this is the one. This is the one that I loved, right? And that's good.
Studio remake of. They could do that too.
Well,
and so did the community.
Woods was happy.
Yeah.
He's nodding in agreement.
As the BO1 basically.
Yeah, but that was one of our audience favorites from Black Ops 2, and they the community has asked for that one to come back many times, and so it's a pleasure for us to bring it back. Next up, we have Summit, which was another classic from Black Ops 1. We joke because it was one of the first maps that we actually built for Black Ops 1.
Yeah, that's a pretty nice one.
Can we tell you the truth about this? The very first map you make for any game, new game, it's actually the last map you finish. It's like you're trying to get your mind around things, and the level of self-criticism about the first map that you make, and then somehow the second, third, fourth, fifth, whatever, those maps.
Mr. Godchild, welcome, bro. Sorry, notifications didn't go out.
I know. It was a very popular map, and it was a map we liked. But it's also like the one map you were playing forever. Right?
Well, perfection takes time. But yes, Summit was.
Summit's fun.
Summit was one of our favorite maps.
Yeah, you can jump into that little gondola.
Right.
Some of us have to work on it.
I get to do the fourth map.
Okay.
Firing range.
Hey, that's what I was talking about.
Is that a question or a statement?
That's a statement.
Nice.
Firing range is
exclamation mark.
Firing range is the fourth map.
Yeah, because that's the studio remake.
Immediately with Black Ops 4, another kind of really good sort of anchoring map, right? I mean, Nuketown's a very popular map in our history for different reasons, but Firing Range is like a classic sort of engagement, sort of, the first time we got really comfortable with the idea of parallel laning, which is the concept of there's a structure and you can move through the structure in the same direction that you can also move through on the outside of that. What the fans, what the kids say, wall banging, you could wall bang in that map very well.
What the kids say, wall banging.
Bullet penetration feature to sort of shoot through a wall to hurt somebody on the other side of that wall. So there's a lot of really good lessons there. So I like these 4 maps because if you can use them as a history lesson and a coaching and teaching tool for the newer developers and map level designers who have joined us over the years. And they're good case studies in so many ways. And obviously I'm talking very from a designer perspective on those kinds of things.
But wait, Dan, there's more.
There's more? No.
You were born for this.
No.
Well, you did mention Nuketown.
No, I didn't.
You did mention Nuketown.
I did not.
We are bringing Nuketown back for our fans, and that's a map that has been a.
They're not going to do a Black Ops without Nuketown.
We've reimagined every game, and we've done something completely different every game. But with this one, we're kind of going back to the Cold War roots a little bit. And it is, but it's got a different twist. So if you look at the very original Black Ops 1, it was really built into that sort of American ideal of Cold War era suburban families. And we have recaptured that theme of the heart of Cold War, but we've put a different twist that we think is a lot of fun. We can't wait to talk more about it.
Is that what they're talking about, Western?
It is a map that we're bringing to our fans shortly after launch. But everybody who plays Black Ops
that map was designed by
you guys are just showing up after.
Designer for MP, who recently celebrated literally his 10-year anniversary at Treyarch.
You guys are just showing up. I'm surprised if any of you got notifications.
One more time, I'm just gonna fall over. All right, so I ran into him in the parking lot yesterday, and I'm like, "Thanks, bud. Still talking about Nuketown. Got to talk about it tomorrow."
Hype, yeah, dude.
Look,
I'm gonna have to ask you to dial it back there a little bit, David.
Yeah.
So they're bringing back Nuketown, which was obvious.
It's fun for us to joke about, and it's fun for us to do
Firing Range,
different things to it. Some of which Dan's alluding at, and there's more to that still. So it is the perfect map for us to manipulate to serve our will, right? So that's why I still love Nuketown, and we know that the fans love Nuketown.
Summit, Firing Range.
Want to keep the map discussion going. Want to turn our attention to the 4 maps that will be available on the show floor. First, want to give a little shout out to Zombies.
Sponsored,
as you may recall, Jason and Craig showed up at Reveal to share information about the Zombies offering for Black Ops 4. Biggest Zombies offering ever, with 3 experiences on disc, 9 Voyage of Despair, and a sweet coming-of-age tale, Blood of the Dead. Anyway, Jason and possibly some friends will be on hand Wednesday, June 13th at 1:45 at the Novo at LA Live to speak with the one and only Jeff Keighley about Zombies past, present, and some future. So
that is hype.
Make sure to tune in next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday, we'll
keep an eye out on our social channels. We'll let you know when to tune in for that.
We will be there.
Jason and Craig could not be here with us today. I have a sneaking suspicion that immediately following the stream, there will be a little message from Jason up on our blog post.
Oh, my dude.
Shed a little more light into where they're at and what they're up to. In the meantime, back to multiplayer. Guys.
No.
I think I was like reincarnated from Ron Burgundy at some point. All right, 4 maps, show floor. We got a lot to talk about here. We got some map fly-throughs, a brand new map that people haven't seen yet, which we will get to. Let's first start with Contraband.
Contraband. Yes, so Contraband was one of the maps that everyone saw at reveal.
Because we are on your stream for this
a tropical island off of the coast of Colombia.
You guys are awesome.
Where an international arms smuggling ring is based. And so it's a really exciting map. It's a lot of fun. It's a very jungly type of vibe, very ocean vibe.
That's really sick.
This isn't spring break material.
This is not a spring break party. There
like jungle, very fun and private life. Yeah, exactly.
There are no pirates.
No pirates. So, just kidding, no pirates. But it is, Contraband was a really fun map to make. We really enjoyed capturing that kind of old world vibe.
Come on, talk about zombies. That's how I feel too.
This new world kind of Contraband.
But I'm still interested in this.
Under the radar.
Reminds me kind of Gauntlet.
So it's got a lot of underwater combat. Has really tight choke points on the bridge. This bridge is a central hot spot, especially in domination, trying to capture the B point. And that's kind of what this map is all about.
Yeah.
No, this is a new map. Jungle's also remastered.
So pretty. And then next up, I believe this is the new one, Frequency.
Sure, we want to do the new one right away. All right, let's talk about Frequency.
Get into it. About zombies, exactly.
Frequency is it's a very small, chaotic map. Actually, in development, we were calling it frenetic.
They're remastering Jungle.
It's one of those maps that you get a lot of fast-paced action. It's got a really great flow to
really
it.
Good.
Constantly moving players around and colliding them into really great, intense head-on battles. But Frequency is it's based in Hunan Province. It is a very large, complex listening station.
That looks pretty cool,
that
actually.
our specialists have gone into assault.
Let's do it, Wolf.
And it sort of has that a little bit of that kind of danger element to it, where if you remember, even we talked about Summit. That was one of the first maps that we did, where we added the risk of falling to your death, so you have to be careful in certain areas.
Exactly.
This is another one of those maps that you have to be a little bit more careful when you move around the outside.
This is weird to me, but this actually makes me want to play multiplayer.
The inside is a super tight choke point hotspot.
It's weird. I don't usually get that feeling, but I actually do.
Large. The map itself.
The map is tight. Yeah, this is
frenetic.
One of our smaller ones.
Yeah, it's intensely chaotic in the center.
Need to talk to our production team. I hope I'm getting this right, but I believe that this is the map that will feature the new mode Control on. Can you tell us a little bit about Control and how the mode works?
Yes, Control. So Control is a new game mode that we've introduced in this game. We've designed it
with
Skype
from my new computer. I probably should do that.
Of really bringing out the best of the tactical gameplay that we have in this game, and kind of enhancing the roles that specialists play in combat, where you can really, your team is going to work together whether they mean to or not. And that was one of our goals in this game, is that we wanted to introduce more teamwork without forcing it on players, let players kind of just play the game, enjoy
places, no texture.
We've talked about, we have this kind of philosophy of what's in it for me. Like, I want to help my team, but I want to make sure that I'm doing awesome myself. So every single mechanic that we designed is really designed to cater to our Call of Duty style of play, while also introducing teamwork, whether
that'll be later tonight.
And this
mode
is really built to bring that out.
With a shared, pool of lives, right? So there's an example of how you can. What's in it for me? Well, I shouldn't die, but then by not dying, I also, can help my team win. So those are how you get players shared goals.
Okay, so leave a like on the stream if you haven't already.
It's bad for you to do that. It's bad for your team to do that. Right towards the end. So the way that this mode resolves, can
that's what it would be.
Quite intense.
I'm sure.
There's nothing like throwing yourselves on an objective.
Yeah, guys, I'm not the biggest multiplayer guy, but I do like to hear information about BO4, because a lot of these guns we're going to hear about, we're going to be using. So
we really talk about it in terms of bring the tactical play out of the game.
And I would actually like to get more into multiplayer this year.
You will help yourself by helping a teammate. That's the what's in it for me kind of thing. But that might also show you that Dan is
same here, Lamborghini. I'm hyped for the beta.
Throwing yourself on an objective without dying.
Yeah,
sounds like game development.
That's what I do. Wins.
It's intense. It's a great mode.
Wins before KD.
Fans love it.
Wins before KD.
All right, Seaside. That is another map that we will have on the
Seaside is a coastal kind of old world town in the coastline of Spain that's been built. It was the site of a demonstration that kind of went awry. Government forces had to come in, so lots of big tanks have come in and barreled through the walls. That reminds me of an Infinite Warfare map. One of the maps, one of the first maps that we built on this game.
We are still playing it forever, just like every
Lamborghini. That is,
but it's a lot of fun. I mean, this map has a big kind of open courtyard in the middle with sniper overwatch positions. Can
you explain to me how the tank got in there? Because I'm still trying to figure that out.
You'll never know. It just busted through the wall and kept going.
I use a monitor, Glenn.
Yeah, so that central courtyard is a site of some very intense battles. It has great sniper positions up there, while at the same time having a lot of tight, choky kind of flows around the outside. So if you want to take, for example, take the path of the wine cellar, it's going to be kind of a windy path, lots of cover, lots of sort of kind of in and out positions that are fun to just fight close range combat with.
I do appreciate that the pastries and wine.
That map was on. It's not on IW, but it does look like it. I know exactly what you're thinking. I said the same thing. The bald Paul Danilo, welcome to the stream. What's up, Elka?
Last but not least,
welcome to the stream.
Payload is an ICBM facility, a missile defense station that's built deep into the mountains of Iceland.
Nice.
Yeah, that was
going through the bullet hole thing. I think you're stealing the Blackout stuff.
Davian, how's it going?
So you'll see these kind of like these large missile silos built into the mountain. You're going to play in and around one, so that's kind of the hook of this map. You're playing through one of these missile silos around one of the big missiles that's taken apart. You can actually fight in and through it. So it has some really kind of tight head-to-head spaces. The way that the lanes connect up in this map are very different from how we traditionally do, and that leads to some new kind of strategic opportunities for how you might attack the center. That center spot, again, is a very intense hot spot, but we also have some really tight paths that we've put, for example, some hardpoint objectives on that are really hard to hold down. And so, you know, we want to do these kind of twists on the game modes to give players new experiences in how they capture and hold an objective, and this is no different.
It's fun to see the maps again. Usually in early development, you know, I'll play these maps.
With Embryonic Nuketown, I could totally see Nuketown remastered for zombies, like as well, like double Nuketown.
It's like, whoa, that's awesome. To see some of the work that the hardworking men and women of Treyarch Art Department has done to make this thing look the way that it looked. Right. Good job.
All right.
You've been busy with those guys, huh?
Yeah. They've put in a lot of hard work, and they've turned out great.
All right, we've got a couple announcements to close things out. Before we get there,
time to go.
Any closing thoughts from you guys? Any last things to share? Anything?
Well, we can't wait to bring the game to E3. It's going to be on the show floor. Multiplayer is playable for our fans in a couple places.
Yep.
So
because we're learning stuff, Davey.
And we'll have more on that very shortly.
Absolutely. But if you're looking for what's playable at the Activision booth, you'll see us. It's in the South Hall, number 1001. You'll get to play these 4 maps: Contraband, Frequency, Seaside, Payload. And it's also worth noting that we will have a number of PC stations set up and ready to go with multiplayer at your disposal. It's probably also worth mentioning that immediately after E3, there will be a couple of us at the DreamHack event in Sweden. So keep an eye out for Jonathan Moses and our brand new community manager on the PC front, guy named
Look at the
Rob
mystery
Smith,
box behind him.
will be wandering around the show.
Is that going to be the...
Let's see here. What else we got?
Is that mystery box going to be in the special
E3, following DreamHack, Black Ops 4 will also be playable at the CWL Anaheim Open on the following weekend from June 15th
Guys,
to the 17th.
Look at that mystery box behind him. That's got to be the special edition item this year.
Front, immediately following the stream, you might want to check out the COD Twitch channel for all of the, or for the schedule for all of the new CWL matches. And last but not least, wanted to throw out a few thank yous for today.
That is so what we're getting in the
thing. From a new stage without a small army of people making it happen.
I'm calling it right now.
Tommy Lira, Robert Sanchez, Lee Staples, little Scott Eckert actually thrown in there. Josh Negrin, thank you very much for all of the help on the production front. Josh Torres, Rob Smith behind the scenes, Stephanie Glover, Jay Per, your art services team, and everyone at Activision for helping to bring all of the assets to life. Fox Designs, Kim, Grace, Rocco, the Treyarch's live ops and production teams, and last but not least, Rose Villasenor. None of us would be sitting here if it weren't for her getting so much stuff done and making it happen. Thank you very much. And to everyone that tuned in today, thank you. Looking forward to see you at E3. and we will see you back here at Treyarch soon. Have a good one, everybody.
Guys, I can't be the only one that caught that. Well, boys, we're done with this. I can't be the only one who caught that, though. 1 second, let me tweet this out. Okay, screenshot 9 is what that is, okay. 1 second. Like BO2. I've never seen this before. Yeah, that's what's gonna be in the special edition. I'm calling it. Is that our special edition item we will see for BO4 behind? Or have we seen that before and I'm just... Because, like, I don't think you could see it all through the thing. Just clueless. What's at Mr. Darling JD? Because, like, guys, literally... Look at that. Okay, let me go back in here quick. Because, guys...
that center spot, again, is
okay,
a very...
so it was... Oh my god, that's loud.
Between stim and other 4 things in the gear slot, so...
somewhere between perks
okay,
and
you
streaks.
could see it.
That's what gear does. And you get
throughout the whole thing.
Side
but
is a...
I do...
But one of the big mistakes.
But it really got close up to him
PC
right
side
here.
pick. One. Well,
Okay, right here, they were definitely showing that on.
There will be a couple of us.
Do it Advocator, or do it Lamborghini. Google. Okay, 1 second. Voyage of... I don't know, Parker has a lot of signatures on it, so it might just be displayed. I think it's going to be a crate for BO2 Care Package Edition. No, that's not what we're looking at, bro. We're looking at right here, man. We're looking at right here.
At the DreamHack event in
right here.
Sweden. So keep an eye out for Jonathan Moses.
Not
our
this,
community
right
manager
here.
on PC front, a guy named Rob Smith will be wandering around the show.
I'm going to actually... I don't know if that's like... Here, how did it come up in my picture? Because I don't think we've seen that before. I don't think we've seen that before. That's not what we're looking at, Wolfhide. Okay, 1 second. They make... Well, no, look at this, guys. We've never seen that before. At least as not of my knowledge. I don't know, Connor. Probably not today. Screenshot 9. Where did I have that? Okay, 1 second. Just for people, I'm gonna zoom in even more. Okay, I'm gonna reply to myself. What's up, Cohen? I'm pretty sure I'm calling it now, guys. I'm calling it now, to be honest. Because wait 1 second. If we go... Lady Builds, welcome to the stream. Or Blitz, welcome to the stream. I followed you. My man. Hi, it's Lamborghini. Translate. Could not translate. Okay, look. Okay, tell me that this... Okay, this is a little different than... This is a little different than... Where is my screenshot? Yeah, that's a little... That's different. But let's see, like... Because I was thinking maybe they... Like, I pre-ordered Black Ops 4. I'm waiting for the special edition to come out. So I'm gonna order that one this year. Look. Yeah, that's a perfect match. I was gonna say, cause it looked like, I was like, it seems kind of more blue than this one, but it lights up. That's really sick. That's really sick. I don't know. I hope people see this on my Twitter. And 4 likes already. You know. Wait, okay, like that. 1 second. Origins Remastered. I wouldn't say that. I could obviously always see an Origins Remaster, but okay, I was like, let me go to like Mr. Darlake JD. Let me go to like Mr. Darlake JD or something. Okay, I want to see if he says anything.
JD, very excited.
Okay, I want to see if he says anything.
Thank you very much for all of the help on the production front.
Oh, did he just?
Josh Torres, Rob Smith behind the scenes, Stephanie Glover, Jay Perry, and thank you very much. And to everyone that tuned in today, thank you.
Guys, so that was it. I was actually, you know, genuinely quite surprised by what they spoke about. Like, we've got 4 fan favorite multiplayer maps coming to Black Ops 4, which we did not expect. Let's not be staring at a blank screen. Let me just do a little bit of this, and we can have the stream back up again. So just to recap on what they mentioned, we have in total 4
I'm gonna also tweet at Glitching Queen on that. Expand Origin, it's a great map the way it is, but in the concept it's supposed to be larger. Yeah, that's true. If they did some sort of, like, if they expanded it, maybe in, like, next game, like BO5. Okay, 1 second. That man is evil. I want to see if Codename Pizza. I know he was live in it. I want to see if he said anything as well. I think he. What's up, Nijaya? 600 notification. All right. But guys, I think for the time being, I'm gonna leave you here with this, because I might make a video actually talking about this right now, but I'm gonna leave you guys here with this for now. Just as kind of calling it good here for the day. But thank you guys all so much for watching the stream today. I do appreciate it. It didn't really pick up till about halfway through, but yeah, I think it's pretty cool now. So I thought it'd be good to get basically just more of an understanding of BO4 multiplayer, and it actually does look like a lot of fun, and I think I'm excited to play it. I haven't really been much to do all this different like stuff before. I don't know, like multiplayer, never really watched reveals and stuff. But thank you guys all so much for watching today. It's been an absolute pleasure serving you, and I will catch you guys later tonight. So thank you for watching. Have an awesome day, everyone. Peace out and goodbye.